Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, the opposition New Patriotic Party is this afternoon accusing President John Dramani Mahama of authoritarian rule, alleging he's using state power to harass political opponents. Speaking at a news conference in Accra, the national youth organizer Salam Mustafa said the administration is weaponizing the newly announced software by the Signals Bureau to monitor and suppress dissent. President Mahama, in his maiden media engagement, if you recall, indicated that the Signals Bureau has acquired new technology that will be able to trace IP address of individuals using hate speech on social media. But the national youth organizer says the use of the technology will lead to a silence culture in the media. Let's listen to him. We're back with more.
Today, I am scared to say that the narrative is changing. The story is becoming bleak, gloom. And I am not a prophet of doom. But if we continue on this parallel road, then we are on the way to Damascus. But all we patriots stand shoulder to shoulder with each other to say that we will not allow this country to be taken down a dangerous road. We have seen in the last period an evidenced pattern of gross abuse of power by the NDC government. Selective justice is taking center root in our society, and this is dangerous to the democratic ethos that we all believe in. That is why, as a party, our forefathers who started the fight against colonialism, will not sit and watch this country thrown under the bus. Ghana is a democracy and not an autocracy with a supreme leader. Today, I am scared to say that the narrative is changing. The story is becoming bleak, gloom. And I am not a prophet of doom. But if we continue on this parallel road, then we are on the way to Damascus, His Excellency. The culture of silence is coming back. The dreaded culture of silence that the antecedents of the NDC took us through in the dark days is beginning to be reintroduced in Ghana. Today, people are getting scared to free their minds, to go on social media to write, or on TikTok to have conversations. Because the president has told us that today they have technology that they will use to crack down on citizens. However, Your Excellency, the Signals Bureau that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo established was for a good purpose.
Well, thankfully, I have with me the NPP National Youth Organizer, Salam Mustafa, in the studio here on JoyNews Prime on Pulse. I beg your pardon. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, for those of you who watch Prime a lot, you understand what just happened. Don't worry. We're doing the polls this time. But then I can see you have a lot of concerns, really. Let's take them one by one. You feel this government is targeting the previous administration. Why exactly?
Thank you for having me. And good afternoon to your viewers. Rightly so. I didn't need to say the evidence is out there. Almost every now and then, there is an arrest of an NPP person. I don't know if you have ever heard since this government came into office that someone affiliated to the NDC has been arrested.
But if you have issues with the law, and no one is above the law.
Exactly. Nobody is above the law.
Mm-hmm.
That is why a court cannot tell us that before the law, some are more equal than others, and that we are in an animal farm. Sorry to say, we are not in an animal farm.
You're referring to the court's verdict with Abroyan DC's case? Is that the
there
concern?
Absolutely. There are plethora of cases that the state, the national security system, if they were fair, would have handled it the same way they go Rambo style arresting NPP people. We went to Ablekuma, not for a rerun of some polling stations. We saw the attack on Howard Kumsin and our deputy national organizer. We ID'd all of them. We know where they are. Alajo here, Mamobi, Nima. They were not arrested because they're NDC people. The communication officer for the NDC in the Bokwa North constituency, North or South, one of them, in Akwitia, threatened the life of the minority leader, Ghana's parliament, the minority leader, that if he had, met him, there would have been a by-election in Efutu. He would have killed him, threatened the life of our national organizer, Nana B, threatened the life of the minority chief whip, Anodompe.
And you petitioned the IGP on it?
We petitioned the IGP, yes. Signed by the General Secretary.
Any response?
Zilch. Nothing. The guy is still working a free man because he's NDC. We saw NDC Vice Chairman Azoka attacking our third Vice Chairman.
But the police tells us he was arrested.
No. Forget that charade.
You don't believe the police said this?
It was a charade.
Oh, they put out a statement. They tell us that they arrested him. He was invited for questioning.
Minutes after that, Azoka posts a video of he sitting cozily with his boys and laughing.
After his arrest?
The so-called release when it came out. That was what happened. That was the reaction to it. It tells you that there is a certain clandestine behavior being put up. Intolerance by the government and quest to kill dissent is so high that they have targeted an NPP activists who speak out or heavily criticize the government.
And this is alleged by you?
I have lived it almost every now and then at the police or the court. In fact, now basically I know almost all the people working at the circuit courts, from court 1 to 9, police CID virtually. Now I know almost all of them working there because of the rampant, visitation to the facility. It's been so consistent that they shouldn't even be ashamed that we are so perverse and bad, that the picture is becoming so clear.
But the concern really is that if your members have done something that is against the law, they ought to be invited.
Nobody has a problem with that. We are saying we have a problem with selective application of the law. Selectivity, there's selective justice going on in the country. If our people so-called misbehave, in the case of Sir Obama, the misbehavior, misconduct, is that he posted a picture. So because of a picture, they went and broke down his door in the middle of the night and bundled him out into police custody. That's all. That was all his crime. In the case of Adenta Kumi, he was the same Rambo style. Heavily armed men stormed his house at dawn, took him into custody because he sent a petition to His Excellency, the President. In the same manner, others petitioned the President to remove the Chief Justice. He also has, he has a different opinion and uses the same channel to write to the President to say that, no, we cannot do this. Then he is a subject of arrest. Okatechie Afrifa Mensa went to school and wrote an exam. On his way home, 3 fully loaded pickups, armed men, pack, and they rushed on him. They won't ask him anything. They won't show any proof of who they are. They just took him, threw him into the pickup, and bolted away, where they won't tell anyone until lawyers went out searching for him. For a reason nobody can tell. Gordon Asaribediakon, your colleague journalist, was picked up, taken to the police station, held there. There was no question, nothing, no reason.
But today they are all walking free, so why are you still hitting the streets?
Good. The danger it portends is the gross abuse of human rights. And it is a danger to society because if a government, a democracy, all of a sudden forgets itself and begins to mimic an autocracy with a supreme leader, it's not just me who is not safe. You are not safe as well.
President Mahama says he's not a supreme leader.
Your journalist was beaten, Carlos Caloni, for going out to do his work as a journalist. He was beaten. So it's not just about NPP people. If they finish arresting NPP people, molesting us, abusing our rights as citizens of Ghana, they believe that we are second class. When they finish with NPP people, they'll come after you.
Some people feel that this is just political talk, really.
It is not political talk. It is real. It is happening. Shatta Wale was recently arrested.
Invited by Yoko.
Shatta Wale is not a politician. But what they were doing to the politicians was extended to Shatta Wale. And if we are going to go into, if you are going to look at Shatta Wale's case in its totality, you begin to see the spokes of politics piercing through it because they are looking for someone.
But if that is the argument, Shatta Wale has done songs for the NDC administration.
In the past. Doesn't mean that they can't turn and come after you. That's why I'm saying that it's not really, a political thing. If, for whatever reason, they can throw anybody under the bus, they can do it to anybody. That's why I'm saying that if we allow this to fester, take center root, then our democracy is gone. Because our democracy thrives on the sharing of opinion. My opinion, your opinion, let's amalgamate them and work with it. Or see whichever is superior and work with. Today, how come this government is so intolerant that free speech is a problem in Ghana? That a judge can tell us that freedom of speech I can guarantee. Freedom of speech, freedom of after speech I cannot guarantee, quoting Idi Amin, who was a dictator in an autocratic environment, being quoted in a democratic setting to make a point. Okay, we'll put the law aside and deal with you just because people feel you are less of a person because your party is not in office. And that even when NDC people misbehave and we take petitions to them, they will not arrest them. Even when you catch them live on TV, like what they did to Hawa Yakubu and Hawa Kumsin and Chris Lloyd, when we ID'd these people and even told the police where these people are, they also not arrest them because of politics. And now let me tell you the last one. There's this boy called Ralph something.
Yeah.
Yes. He broke into the Rich Hospital, beat up a nurse. Nobody arrested him.
Committee was set up to look into that. You're not pleased with that approach?
Why didn't they use the CID? Why didn't they use the CID? And after the committee finished its work, why was he not arrested? That you can assault people and go scot-free?
The committee's findings, we got
the committee only
bits
went
and
and sat
pieces
down
of
and
it.
drank tea and came back and threw some jargon, some balderdash on the table and went away.
They said the nurse in question wasn't actually assaulted.
That is why they should have given it to the CID. They should go and arrest him, investigate him. If they come to the same conclusion, then he can walk free. But because he's an NDC person, not once has he been thrown behind bars. And I'm telling you, if it were an NPP person, they would have gone Rambo style. You see how they took Chairman Abronya to court in a grand style.
Stay with me,
in a
Salam.
Black Maria, which is a moving cell.
Stay with me, Salam.
Like
Let me bring in Let me bring in Shamima Muslim. She is Deputy Government Spokesperson. Join us live here on The Pulse. Shamima, we appreciate your time. You've just been hearing the key concerns put out by the NPP administration, that this administration is seeking to gag free speech. How do you respond to that?
Good evening, or is it afternoon, to you and your viewers. Indeed, I just got a call from your producer asking me to respond to some baseless claims that were being made against the government. My initial thought was to not respond to those baseless claims, because my thinking is that the media in and of itself, beyond serving as purveyors of he said, she said, has the ability, and JoyNews more than most have the ability to establish whether or not this government, His Excellency's government, can be described in the terms that your guest in studio is describing it since His Excellency assumed power in January of 2025. Whether there is any base to come to the conclusion, as those conclusions were made in the 8 years of the Nana Bawumia administration, where independent agencies declared boldly from facts and statistics that trust in accountability institutions had been eroded because of the tinkering of Salam Mustafa's government, that the judiciary had been reduced in the image of the judiciary had been reduced in the public eye because of these same tinkering, that the media had been stifled, that freedom of speech had been stifled. I would wait for the Afro Barometer next round of surveys to come to those same conclusions before I can begin to take Salam Mustafa seriously for those baseless claims. Do you see? This country is turning a new direction. Whether or not the NPP wills it or wants it, we all know that they have been crying and praying that this government fails. A former member of parliament told all of us that it is not in their interest for the John Mahama government to fail. Those are enemies of state. Those comments are not political comments. Those comments are comments about and around people who do not wish this country well. So while the NPP continue to behave in the ways that have reduced them to the numbers that they have in parliament, while they insist that they will continue to be a nuisance to the forward march of this country, while the media allows them grounds to make these sometimes baseless claims without accountability, we will keep our eyes focused. His Excellency will continue to build this country, together with whoever is willing to build this country. Look, this thing that they are doing, they did it from 1966. I was just reading, I have these books that I'm reading, and in 1966, after conniving to oust Kwame Nkrumah, the newspapers was rife with headlines. Nkrumah was a fraud, they said. Politics affected discipline, they said. They did a lot of things. They tried to annihilate the legacy of Kwame Nkrumah. These things are tools from their toolbox. We know them too well, and this government will not be detracted by them. And for the record, His Excellency is not one who gives in to wanton abuse of his powers, as he has shown since January. He is not a vindictive leader who ensures that his opponents or even members of his own government who disagree with him face his angst. He is not of such. And that is why we had seen this new turn in our good governance indicators, because this government, when they need to turn the spotlight on their own, they do that. And since January, the examples are there to show. So they have a right as an opposition to behave in a responsible manner and to engage in responsible opposition as they try to recover their party, or they can decide to be a nuisance. It is really their choice. At the end of the day, we hold the good people of Ghana in high esteem. We will continue to communicate to the good people of Ghana the actions His Excellency is taking to reset this country for jobs, for accountability, which they are running away from, and for shared prosperity, not a clannish group that would appropriate our collective resources for a few. To that end, as we speak today, the GES is working to place our students in our schools. They have set up a center for all redress and all challenges that parents are going through. Ministers are meeting their constituents and explaining to them government challenges. Even with the vexed matter of Galamsey, we are openly, transparently, accountably speaking on government actions to solve this environmental terrorism. Please, next time, invite us on real issues of development for this nation. When a policeman slapped a journalist, you reported instantaneously the action that the Ghana Police Service took to remove that police officer from operation and to let that police officer face scrutiny and investigation and consequence. When members of the NDC, in responding to the presence of an NPP person who sprayed pepper spray, when we reported and we all saw the condemnable reaction, even though the NPP, Hawa Kumsing, had no right to hold pepper spray in an election in a perimeter. We condemned, right-thinking members of our country condemned the excesses. As we speak, those particular individuals were brought before the law courts and they faced their fines. These are the actions that show a departure. Abronye and the comments that he made, if the IGP exerts his right to bring him to book with regards to the claims that he made, very irresponsible claims that Abronye made. This is not the first time Abronye has insulted anybody. Abronye has been insulting people. You see, it is not a battle between angels and demons. Within our both political parties, there have been excesses, and there will always continue to be those hawks in parties, those that do their things differently. But however different you want to be, you must always work within the boundaries of the law, because when you breach the law can choose to come to you and for you. And so when leaders who must know better, who must do better, who must speak better, find themselves trying to project self-seeking behaviors, then you know that there's a long way to go. But the light at the end of the tunnel is that the invitation that His Excellency John Mahama keeps getting from the opposition New Patriotic Party, the provocations that they keep bringing his way, he knows them too well. He will not give in to them because he's focused. He knows what he's doing. He's building this country, and he will do it with or without the New Patriotic Party coming on board and engaging in responsible opposition, as by rights they should. Calling us and expecting accountability is what every citizen must do. But not lies, not fake news. An MP published a fake news card that I had said an NPP MP just 2 days ago. But at least he had conscience when his attention was brought to the fact that this fake quote card was published by their fake news machinery as far back as January. He put it down and apologized. So there is hope within the New Patriotic Party that there are some elements that when their attention is brought to their own Zandam, they would come back on apology just so we build this country.
Thank you so much, Shamima. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. So I'm wrapping up with you, Salam. We've just heard from government. They're concerned about your approach. They say this is just one of your tools from your box. It's not new, is it? It's all political for you.
If this is the thinking of the government, then there's a problem. Something is wrong. And I was quite amazed listening to Shamima and her choice of words. Frivolous. People were thrown into jail, remanded into police custody, their rights taken away from them, and you call it frivolous? Really?
You're walking free today.
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about say, Obama and co. 2 young ladies whose rights were abused for crying out loud. 96 hours behind bars before they were put before a judge in a court of law.
So you're still hitting the streets? When exactly?
Hit the street.
When?
On Tuesday, 6 a.m. we are at Obra Spot, all the way to the police headquarters, where we present a petition for police and national security, detour, come and use the 37 road and stop in front of the Jubilee House and present a petition to His Excellency the President. And that it is not frivolous when you are abusing people.
Okay, thank you so much, Salam.
Don't use the words like, we want to provoke the government. Nobody wants to provoke the government.
Thank you so much, Salam. At this point, we have to go. You're still watching The Pulse. When we come back, we have a conversation on Ghana's National Association of Local Authorities of Ghana and some of the key concerns they are calling for. I'll give you details after this break.